If you asked every League player who the best player of all time is, there's absolutely no doubt whose name is going to be heard the most. All roads lead to him, Faker. He is no doubt the best player of all time. When you think of League, you think of Faker. When you think of the best, you know it's Faker. However, there is one person and one person only who you will hear some players say could stand toe-to-toe with Faker. This player has never won Worlds. He has never even been to Worlds. He's never even played in a tournament. His main account received a 1,000-year ban, and is still banned to this day. Even though he is so good that he is often seen as the only rival to Faker, Riot still has not unbanned him. This is, of course, Apdo, or as you may know him, Dopa. Dopa achieved rank 1 every single season from Season 3 to Season 10. Season 11 was the first time he wasn't able to achieve rank 1, with his peak being in the top 10 on the ladder. Even more impressive, he achieved rank 1 on the Chinese super server. For those that don't know, to even play on this server you would need to be Diamond 1 or higher on another server. This is the definition of playing with the best of the best. You could literally be a Masters level player, stuck in gold because the competition was that difficult. There is nothing that can prove your skill as a player more than hitting rank 1 on the super server, except maybe winning Worlds 4 times. This video is going to cover the story of Dopa, how he found his success, the strategies that he used, his mindset, his approach to the game, and his legacy. You might ask, if Dopa was so good right from the start, why did no team ever sign him? Well, they tried. He declined. Despite multiple invitations to join pro teams, Apdo refused every single one. And he was open about why. He simply made more money by elo boosting accounts. When you're as good as he is, boosting to any elo is simply not a big deal, and something that he was able to do very easily. Dopa is known for having said that he paid his entire tuition simply by elo boosting. There is no debate, Dopa is the absolute best elo booster of all time. Despite this, in September of 2013, Dopa accepted an invitation. He joined Team Dark, who were supposed to compete in the OGN Winter Qualifier. That is, until someone that Dopa had been elo boosting reported him directly to Riot for personal reasons. They suggested Riot investigate his elo boosting and in-game behavior. Dopa, who was still elo boosting at the time, received a 1,000-year ban from Riot Games, and was also banned from participating in OGN or any tournaments for 2 years. Team Dark went on to play in the tournament, and infamously received the fastest loss in competitive League history.
Trundle dies to something somewhere. And there goes the Nexus, guys. 8 minutes, the Nexus down to about half health. Can Team Cloud Templar come back? I think it's just too little too late.
Who's MVP this game, though?
I think the fans are. I think Cloud Templar is MVP this game. They're going to give it to him.
This is
Cloud Templar for MVP, guys.
the fastest game of League of Legends.
In history, easily. I'm just going to make that claim. I don't even care. There it is, GG at 8 minutes, 24 seconds.
In order to honor the recently retired player Cloud Templar, Team Dark locked in troll picks and lost in only 8 minutes.
And, I will say this, Team Dark came into this with a reputation a little bit.
Well,
Skarner and a Moo Moo. Oh, man, here we go. Trundle. There he is, Maokai. Trundle, and, well, Rammus is banned, so they can't do Rammus.
that's actually really sad. It's probably be Maokai Shen.
Shen,
and
yep, that's right.
Trundle.
Trundle's going to be the final pick, I'm sure. Telling him to lock it in.
Yes!
Trundle, yeah, there it is! All right, guys, let's do this. Team Dark, or Team Cloud Templar, that is, versus Samsung Ozone. If you thought Invades were strong last game, you haven't seen the 4 machete invade.
I wonder if they're just going to try and take, they've got 3 smites, 4 machetes, and they started out, each of their machete carriers also started with a green ward.
Yeah.
Uh-oh,
they found him. Oh, no. Oh, they're going in. Maokai in onto Imp, and there's a fight. Trying to get a big stun on the back lines. Dade throwing out those Qs. Imp chases down first blood, goes to Dade. This is not going well for Team. Here we go. All right. There's no level 1 dragon, unfortunately. If they wait it out, maybe they can do dragon when it eventually spawns.
It's speculated that Dopa being banned by Riot is at least part of the reason that the team decided to do this.
Has been a question that has been burning in my mind.
Haven't seen one of these since Champions 2012. All right, and there's the dragon. All the smites used. Dragon getting a bit lower. They have to juggle that aggro, and they're doing a quite nice job. There's the dragon. Oh man, they're coming in right on to Mata. Mata a little bit low. There's the trophy as well. Sevilla already.
After his ban, Dopa continued playing on Smurf accounts and reached Challenger with extremely high win rates. You need to input a social security number in order to play, so smurfing is not easy there. If Dopa streamed on an account, Riot would ban it. Account sharing is not allowed and is therefore bannable. Around this time, Dopa famously held a goodbye stream. He would need to do mandatory military service, and as far as he knew, he would have to attend. A few days later though, Dopa was streaming again, where he said that he was able to have his service postponed. This would happen multiple times over the years. During the summer of 2013, Apdo would play League on Smurf accounts.
그런 식의 인원수 싸움을 특패는 하면 됩니다. 계속 상대가 있는 라인에 집착하지 말고요. 바텀으로 들어오죠. 피즈는 미드로 돌아왔고 그냥 킬 안 먹고 천천히 해서 CS만 먹었는데도 딜이 어마어마하죠.
It has to be mentioned that Dopa was known for being toxic at this point. He was sometimes referred to as the evil faker and had a reputation for losing games on purpose when he felt it was deserved. An example of this is the last day of Season 3. Pro player Someday was currently rank 1, and Faker was trying to reach rank 1. Dopa intentionally threw games to ensure that Faker would end the season at rank 1 because he believed that a mid lane player deserved to end the season with the rank 1 title. In September of 2014, there was a contest to see who could get rank 1 on the Chinese server. The contest winner would receive the equivalent of $80,000 US. Dopa went to China and decided to compete in the tournament. He began streaming his gameplay on September 9th and achieved master rank just 2 weeks later on September 23rd. Within the next 7 days, Dopa would do the unthinkable and achieve rank 1 at 1300 LP. This is where these iconic photos are from. Dopa is collecting his earnings from the competition. What Dopa did next is probably one of the most iconic moments in League history. Dopa made a public offer to Riot, offering the equivalent to $100,000 US to them if they would unban his main account. Riot refused. Dopa would continue playing on Smurf accounts and effortlessly reach rank 1 over and over again, despite not technically being allowed to play. He also eventually wrote a public apology about his solo queue behavior, which led to speculation about if Dopa was intending to go pro in China. He never did. There is one of Dopa's achievements that stands out above all the rest, and it has to do with the Chinese super server. In order to play on this server, you would need to be at least Diamond 1 on one of the other servers. This means that the entire ladder consisted of only players who were at least at a Diamond 1 level. You could literally be on the top of your server normally, but stuck in silver on the super server. Dopa reached rank 1 on this server, where only the absolute best players were allowed to play. And he did it with a 60% win rate.
아니 저거 끝까지 봐주지.
Dopa's mindset and approach to the game are very interesting. He literally said, "I'm not that good at League of Legends. Really, I'm not. I just understand these concepts where other players do not." Dopa believes in playing to do what is correct, even if your teammates may not play correctly. In a Q&A with viewers, he gives a specific example. If you are side laning and you have 4 of your teammates defending mid versus 5 people, it is correct for your teammates to defend the push while you side lane. It is possible that your team does not do the correct play, and instead could try to fight 4v5. He says in a situation like this, you should always side lane and assume that your team will play properly. It would be wrong to reset and join them just in case they throw. You are going to feel pressure to join your team, but Dopa says that this is incorrect and not how you should make decisions. Your team could fight mid, and you could lose Baron and the game as a result. Dopa says even with this risk, the optimal play is to continue to side lane while your team defends mid. You must continue to side lane simply because it is optimal. He elaborates further on this. Dopa says that even if your intuition tells you that it is correct to reset and go mid, because you think your team is going to fight, you still should not go. If you were to reset, run mid, and your team did fight, and you won the fight, then went to Baron and won the game, it would still be incorrect. Even though you won because you got lucky. The correct play is to side lane, and it is better for long-term results to choose the correct play and lose than to do the wrong thing and win. Dopa explains that people will remember all the times their team fought 4v5 and lost, and will also remember the times when they reset, backed up their team, and won. This will affect their decision making and cause them to not be consistent because they're making decisions based on emotions rather than what is right. The results do not matter. What matters is that your decision was correct. This leads to long-term success and climbing. He says that when he loses games, he will often have not participated in a single team fight because none of the team fights were situations where they should have been fighting. Dopa said, with a consistent playstyle, you will always create advantages. The reason being, if you play this way and the opponent makes one mistake, it's a direct advantage rather than playing to catch up. It is a direct advantage if you only make optimal decisions playing League with this fundamental mindset. I'm gonna interrupt the video here to give you the small YouTuber speech. 98% of people who watch my content are not subscribed. Every like and comment makes a huge difference with the algorithm, so let me know down below if you'd like more content like this. Thanks again, and back to the video.
이게 안 박혀?
Another quote from him is, I play with a mindset that I never lose late game. Statistically, my win rate increases as games take longer. This is why I play cautiously and slowly. I win just by prolonging the game and making consistent decisions. Dopa gave information about how he views League on his stream when he thought that his League career was over because he would need to complete mandatory military service. Dopa said that he views League in terms of concepts. He considers these concepts to be the fundamentals of the game. He defines these as things that give you huge advantages as long as you are aware of them. In his opinion, most players have very little or no knowledge of these fundamentals. An example of one of his concepts is related to split pushing. Using Twisted Fate as an example, he clears the minion wave, but pretends to walk in one direction after using Q. Right as the minions die, he pivots and moves in the other direction. This makes the enemy think he is roaming to one side of the map or warding somewhere else. Then he is able to go the way he actually intended to go. This is just one example of a concept that may not seem like a big deal, but has a huge impact on the game when done consistently. While talking about League montages, he gave an example of an Irelia montage. Dopa says that if you look in those montages, you're never going to see a video of him getting styled on. You also won't see any players who are hailed as the best in the world getting styled on. He says that the reason for this is because good players simply wouldn't give the Irelia player the opportunity to do any of these plays. It's not about the mechanics, it's about the decision making. Dopa talks about attention theory. Attention theory is basically the idea of having a mental stack while you play. People can only track so many things at once. For example, if a laner is completely focused on last hitting, trading, and avoiding poke, it is very easy for that laner to die to a gank. Pings, or other losing lanes, or a player tilting, are all things that consume some of your attention. This means you are less focused on other aspects of the game. Dopa applies this to the enemy team as well. If his bot lane is winning hard, he knows that it's mentally taxing for the enemy mid, and he's able to focus entirely on his lane. He knows he will win as long as he can outperform the enemy mid, because his team is already winning. He is already playing with an advantage. While Dopa is famously known for being able to play every role, at the time, Dopa considered himself a two-trick player. He was most well known for playing Twisted Fate and Orianna, but he was also known for his Kassadin as well. He has a large champion pool overall. These were just his main champions. Because he focused on only a couple of champions at a time, he didn't have to spend any attention on last hitting or managing the wave because it was automatic for him. This means that he is able to focus completely on assessing the game state and making better decisions than other players. Dopa believes that his computer setup has to be exactly how he likes it. If his mouse is slightly off where he would like it to be, he is distracted and won't play as well. The better his opponent, the more perfect he feels that his setup needs to be so that he can focus entirely on the game. During a live stream, he spoke in depth about his computer setup and how specific he is about it. His desk needs to be perfectly level. The monitor has to be specifically 47.3 centimeters away from the edge of his desk. He also puts tape at the edge of his desk, which he sticks to his chair to make sure that the chair stays in the same position every time he plays. He finishes his talk by saying that in League, nothing is always true or always wrong, and that ultimately everything is situational. One of the most popular stories about Dopa has to do with a different game, PUBG. As of 2017, Dopa was still maintaining rank 1, still grinding League, while managing an addiction to PUBG. PUBG was a huge game at the time, and one of his infamous quotes from his stream is him saying that he wants to get even better at League so he can win games faster and therefore play more PUBG. Even when League was not his main interest, he was still the best.
힐 써줄걸. 이길만 했는데 내 판단이 잘못됐다.
At the end of Season 11, Dopa uploaded a video titled My Legacy. In this video, he explains that from Season 3 to Season 8, even though many different people achieved rank 1, it always belonged to him. He knew he was the best, and at any point he could simply take rank 1 back. There was no doubt about if he could do it. It was a guaranteed thing that he could do whenever he wanted. That is, until Season 9. In Season 9, Showmaker and Chovy showed up. Until that point, Dopa was confident he was the best solo queue player. However, when he played against them, he didn't feel like he had an advantage. He wasn't worse than them, but he also wasn't better than them. This is the point where he no longer considered himself to be the sole owner of the rank 1 spot on the ladder. In his opinion, in Season 10, when playing against Showmaker or Chovy, he would simply lose. He felt that rank 1 was no longer his in Season 10. Even though he achieved rank 1, it was no longer something that he felt that he deserved. In Dopa's opinion, if he played versus Chovy and their teams are even, he would win only 1 out of every 100 games. Against Showmaker, he thought he would win about 4 in 100. This would also be the final season in his famous 8-season rank 1 streak. When discussing other top players, Dopa said, "I wasn't worse than them, but I didn't have an edge over them either. I could go even, but I was unable to outperform them. It's okay to drop games because variance is a part of the nature of solo queue. However, to be rank 1, you can never afford to drop your performance. In Season 10, there were 2 people standing between me and rank 1. In Season 11, there were so many more. It's the first season since I started playing that I failed to claim rank 1. I haven't been rank 1 for a while now, but it's the first time that I've actually failed to take this spot. I could just say I've been rank 1 for the last 8 seasons. Now, all I can say is, I've been challenger for the last 9 seasons. I could explain that I've been rank 1 for 8 seasons, but that I failed this time around. But that explanation is too long, and it looks like I'm making excuses. So I'm forced to just call myself challenger. A D1 player wouldn't want to call themselves a Diamond player because they look down on Diamond 4 players. They call themselves Diamond 1. It's the same thing. To me, challenger isn't enough. Anything less than rank 1 is worthless. I don't want to call myself challenger. Just challenger? What a disgrace. So, this is my legacy. Rank 1 player, 8 seasons in a row. Dopa has said that Faker is the best player of all time, and that Faker created many techniques that Dopa simply copied. He famously said, "Everyone other than Faker is trash." He also said, the reason Faker was the greatest mid laner in the world was simply this. He forces the enemy jungler to his lane, and he never dies to the enemy jungler. In August of 2023, Dopa officially enlisted in the military for his 18 months of mandatory service. He said that it is not goodbye forever, but that it will be a long time before we see him again. It's hard to fathom just how ridiculous Dopa's achievements are. He achieved rank 1 on a server that only had the best players playing on it. It's not the same as getting rank 1 on your local server, where most of the competition are genuinely low elo players. A bronze player on the super server is at least as good as a diamond 1 player. He hosted a goodbye stream live on Twitch the following day, where he went to the military training center. Dopa proved himself objectively to be the best of the best. He is the top 0.1% of the top 0.1%. Many players consider him to be the absolute best player of all time. Some players consider him to be the best, second only to Faker. Others consider him to be the best solo queue player, while Faker is the best pro player. What do you think? Let me know down below who you think is the best solo queue player of all time.